Hey.
Yeah, I'm good. Glad to be here again.
Glad to be here. Glad to have you guys on, is what I should be saying. Glad to have you. It's an honour and a privilege to be on community radio and delivering the good people of the Northwestern region and around the world as well with our podcast, because we do get some love from overseas. Just general car talk, and it's great. So we've got a few topics tonight. I want to start the topic with heritage plates. So, do you know much about them, Colin? Alan, sorry.
All I know is they're damn expensive.
Well, there is heritage plates, and then there is have your car on a heritage listing. So you can, it's like over the 25-year rule. Club plates.
Okay. Yep.
But we'll be talking about both of those.
The club plate side I can get behind. I think it's a good idea.
I agree. But here's my question to you and to the people at home. If you've got any thing to say on my next question, 044777 989. That's 044777 989. Now hear me out here. Should people that have like a nice like a weekend car, even if it's less than 25 years old, be eligible if they're driving under 10,000 Ks a year to have a club plate?
I'm going to say yes.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
But put a but in there as well.
Okay. Yep.
In terms of how like the club plates are registered, you can drive 90 days in the year. I think it is
something like that. I think there's a few packages you can do. I'm not too sure. Grasso does it with his Charger.
Yeah. He's my main source of information as well for it.
He is. Yeah. And he's doing it. Obviously, the Charger's more than 25 years old, so he gets eligible for club plates. And for those of you at home are like, what the hell are these guys talking about? Well, what a club plate is basically when your car's 25 years or older and you don't drive it every day, it's eligible for like it's like a how would you explain it? Like a weekend car. Like you're allowed to drive it 90 days a year. You have a logbook you got to fill out every time you drive it, the kilometres, this, that, and the other. But you might be saying at home, oh well, that's crap. You're still paying $700 worth of registration. No, you're not. You're paying like I think it's like under $200.
Yeah, 160 or something.
$160,
like that,
yeah. which is I think is a great idea. But my question is to you and to the good people is that should people that have like for example like a 2012 whatever it is be allowed to, if they've got a daily car for this car that they drive probably once every 2 weeks or so, be eligible to put on a club reg? And I'm with you, Alan. I think they should, because at the end of the day, those cars aren't driving as much. Like you look at some Ferraris and stuff that are new. They're not going to drive them every day, but they're still paying. Top dollar for a car. Yep. But then you'd be saying, oh, if they're Ferrari, they've got a Ferrari, they can pay the registration of almost $800. It's not kind of the point. It's like,
what about the guy with the F6?
Exactly right.
It's the principle of the matter.
Does
the age of the car necessarily matter if you're driving it the same and it's maintained just as well as the old one?
Exactly right.
Because you're paying for, in the end, road usage and, of course, the TAC insurance, which is taking care of people that have accidents on the road.
Yep.
And if you're not using the road to that extent that you would if you had a full registration,
should you?
Should you have to pay that? Because I like I said earlier, I said yes, but there should be a lot more stringency in terms of how people are monitored with their usage of their car. Because if any car can be registered for, I guess, a club registration where you're only allowed to drive for 90 days,
people are going to rot the system.
Yeah, people are going to rot the system, and like the registration system, it pays for roads, it pays for us being able to have an acceptable road system. I'm not going to say it's the best in the world, but it pays for those things. And if everyone starts cheating the system, for example, if people with just a one car at home then start saying, okay, I just want that on the club reg, and I'm going to drive it 90 days, it gets it takes away from profits that were like allocated originally.
Yeah, okay. It's not money that's just gone into people's pockets.
Well, yeah, that's another side of the story. Look, we will continue. So we're going to go right to a break. I'm going to go to a song by TK Mizer. It's called Castle in the Sky. 0.9 Northwest FM. This is CarTorque with Matty J in the studio with Alan and Nathan. We are back on the topic of Club Reg, and we'll be talking about heritage plates. Are they worth the money? Because that's another story. I've got some good stories about heritage plates, but we'll get to that a bit later. So, just before we say before the break, we're talking about people potentially rorting the system, which it can happen. It happens everywhere. I mean, I'm not going to say particularly where it happens, but people do rort. People find ways to rort the system.
And just quietly, people are currently rorting the current, club reg system a little bit, a little bit.
Well, we'll get to that in a bit because there's plenty of ways around it, and it's a very iffy topic. So I was going to say, if you have 2 cars registered in your name, so per se, yeah, and one is like, for example, like how I've got got the F6, and then I've got the Laser as daily. And if you could say to Vic Roads, look, I only drive this car on a weekend or once or twice a month. Is it possible to do it? Could there be consideration for it? Because I'm driving it less than 90 days a year, this, that, and the other. Would there be, would there be a way around it instead of paying almost $800 regos and insurance as well isn't cheap? So if legally the cars were both in your name and stuff, I reckon that'd be a cool way of doing it.
I definitely agree with that. And as you were saying, if it reduces the cost to the individual for having 2 cars. And that, in the grand scheme of things, will increase the amount of individuals that own 2 cars. Exactly. So a person that just couldn't afford it, only had their one daily driver, will now have, their daily driver and then their, I guess, nice car, or their fun car on the club reg, and they'll be able to afford that, which, in the end, they're getting more money.
Exactly right.
So there's a very good possibility that they'll actually be able to make more money out of this, as long as they have proper safeguards in place, and it's, as you said, one person owning both vehicles, and then being able to prove that one is their fun weekend car, kind of only once in a while driving, and the other is their daily that they'll pay full registration for.
I mean, if they have to show, if they have to legally show, take the car to Vic Roads after a 6-month period and show you've only done 1,000 kilometers. I mean, people can still rort that. They can still do it, but by just even to get the ball rolling for this to happen, as a 6-month a kind of a waiting period, like a sussing out period, I reckon that it attracts so many more people to have a second car, and to have a car that they're going to look after more and be able to maintain, because they're going to get enjoyment. Look, I'm all for club reg, and I reckon it's a great idea. But I know some people with more than one car on club reg, and it's fantastic. But 4 cars that are under 25 years old or so, possibly just having the one extra car that could come under that, or let's just make it if it's on a club reg, a probationary use or something, just limited use reg, if that could be a case. I think that'd be a fantastic idea.
It'd help people's pockets a lot, and it's, as you said, it's right. You're already paying full registration for one car.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a prohibitive system to have more than one, especially if you don't use it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. So I reckon it'll be a great thing to do, and as Alan said, it'd get more people on board, and because look, let's be honest here, 2 registrations is $1,500 or $1,600. It's a lot of money. So by potentially let's say all in for $1,000 for 2 cars, it's a big possibility. It can happen. So. I'm all for that, and I reckon that'll work fine. Because for example, the existing club system, it's getting a lot more. I'm starting to see a lot more cars on club reg getting around, and I mean, I'm even seeing 32 Skylines getting on club reg now because they've hit that 25-year-old. It's hard to believe those cars are 25 years old. We grew up with those cars.
Yeah. The first cars I originally started noticing. And I was thinking it was strange was VL turbos.
Yes.
I was like, why they got that plate on them? But normally you would see older cars, older muscle cars particularly, that have a club reg, and you're like, oh, okay, it's probably an old school muscle, understandable. But then I started seeing the VL turbos, and I was a bit weirded out. But now things make more sense. So
VL turbos pushing 30 years now, man. So it's actually they would be 30 years old, 86, yeah. So that's, jeez, I'm just having a bit of a moment now. 30 years old for a VL. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, but as I said, I freaked out when I saw a 32 Skyline GDR on Club Reg. I'm just like, oh my god, that's a 32 GDR and it's on Club Reg. That guy has the life of a king. He doesn't pay much rego, and he's got an awesome car. So I reckon they should seriously consider introducing this idea that we're proposing, because it'd help so many more people out, and it's and especially like, I'm only saying this as if you've got two cars. If you've got the one car and you don't drive it, 90 days a year, well, that's just bad luck. Because it's still one car, but if you're paying for two cars, because two registrations are a lot of money, and it'll work out a better system.
And like as you said, to get the ball rolling, maybe they don't bring it as a club reg. Maybe they do something like it's an enthusiast registration. Yeah. It's half the price of a regular registration.
Even half the price would be a massive difference. Yeah.
And just put some restrictions in place and make a system, because if you encourage more vehicle ownership, that's good for the economy all around. There's two cars that are getting maintained. There's two cars that are buying tyres, fuel, all that. So it's overall it's a net positive for everyone. Yeah, including Vic Roads.
And at the end of the day, like, as a company, Vic Roads wants to make money. So if this can get more people to buy more cars, it's could be a possibility here. Like, it could be a good thing. But having said that, people do rort the system, and so for those of you at home that don't know or driving don't know what how it kind of works, to my knowledge and from what I've seen from various people they've got cars on Club Reg, they've got like a little logbook, and you just put in your time, like your date you're driving, and what you're doing. For example, if you're taking it to a mechanic, which if you've got an old car, most of the time will be, or if you're going for a drive. I think I'm not too sure if you put the kilometres or if you put. I think you might have to kilometres or time.
The most recent one I've seen, which was our friend Adam's, you don't have to put the kilometres.
You just put time.
Yeah. Okay. So that can possibly make things a little easier to fudge.
That, as well as the fact that you're writing it in a book.
You're cooking the books.
And you can. Like I've heard of stories. People don't quote me, but people with the removable pen, or if there's like you're driving on the first. Wait till the 11th, put another one next to it. So stuff like that. I've heard of stuff like that happening. So, but like it's like I freaked out when it's like so much more stringent for you getting 120 hours than getting doing that, because even in the 120 hours you got to write the kilometres of the car down. So I reckon if they should. Okay, I'm going to be a bit of a hard ass here, but they should probably tighten it up a little bit, like just squeeze up loose ends. But also allow an enthusiast registration and bring those not tough laws, but like just stricter things so people will abide by it, and we'd see a lot more enthusiast cars on the road.
A system based on the amount of driving instead of. Of course, you have to meet the minimum of full registration, but after that, it should be a system of how much you're driving instead of paying for full registration every single car.
And that could be another thing that happens, like how much you're driving your car if you're driving it every day, or like for example, they could possibly do a registration where like based on every 5,000 k's. So if you're driving 5,000 k's a year, 10,000 k's a year, 15,000
like a tiered system.
Yeah, and if you're driving 5,000 k's a year, basically you can. It's the cheapest one. You're paying 10. It's slightly more. 15, slightly more. A bazillion, like 100,000 k's a year. Then you're paying the full reg. Like we could go say for example 5, 10, 15, and a full reg. I reckon that'd be a great, or even 510 then a full reg. So,
there are ways to do it to keep it fair but also honest.
Yeah, exactly right. And to keep it honest, you could also always just have your mechanic, or they could probably organise a system where like the mechanic checks it off, or you take it to Vic Road and they check your car off for the kilometres and stuff like that, which would be a great thing.
And since they are making more money from that, there's the ability to actually hire somebody to do that. Like, because you don't have somebody's going to have to take at the time. You have to make an appointment and stuff like that. It's providing a benefit to the car owners because they don't have to pay a full registration, and then it's also providing, I guess, the income to Vic Roads, so each Vic Roads can have one individual that's like just doing those daily checks for cars that are making appointments.
Yeah, and look, that'd be a great thing, and I'd be totally all for that. Like, I can see why registrations are so expensive. If you actually look at your registration fee, it's like $128 is like the rego fee, but I think the remaining $600 is for the TAC, and And like, okay, well, you know, when people in car accidents do need that money, it's like a third party kind of thing. But you know, if you're not driving that car enough, you shouldn't really be taxed so much for it, if you know what I mean. So I'm not being a stinge bucket to the TAC. I'm just saying, like, you know, for your everyday person, 2 registrations is a lot of money.
Yeah, it's when you're already paying the equivalent of what everyone else that owns a car is paying, and then you just want a little car for like just your enjoyment, like a sidecar. Like a side, let's not call it a sidecar. You're not cheating on anyone here, but you know, it's you know your weekend car. Even that sounds terrible now.
Oh jeez,
you're
digging your hole deep out.
Your piece on the side. You stick with that.
Yeah, well, we call it your sidecar.
Sidecar,
so
yeah.
it's not going to. We've lost it. It's not going to have the same amount of usage. It really shouldn't have to pay the same amount. You know, in the grand scheme of things, it increases the possibility of people owning more cars, and in the grand scheme of things, still should end up with greater profits.
Yeah. If the system works properly, they'd kill it. They'd make a lot more money than they would. If you got something to say about this topic, send us a message on 0447777989. That's 0447777989. Give us your input. We'll be happy to tell, say it on the air. We'll give you a shout out. Leave your name in the message, and we'll give you a shout out on the show. But see, I think this is a really really interesting topic. Like, if they were to introduce something like this, it'd be so much more better for like car enthusiasts, because we do get a bad rap in the grand scheme of things here. But it'd be good because, you know, I guess if people are driving these hoon cars every day, if they've got like a $2 bucket as a daily driver, they're not going to be as much hoons as the road. So I guess that kind of might backfire on the police, because they need to make, like, you know, their daily quotas and stuff. So they probably have to stop it. But
they just put in more force on the Saturdays and Sundays when they know
exactly.
the hoon cars are coming out.
The hoon cars. The sidecars, Alan. The sidecars.
The sidecar.
Main car out of your league to sidecar.
The main car gets jealous. No.
Oh jeez, no, that's actually made my day today. That's quite funny. Look, we're gonna go to a quick break. We're gonna go to a song by Moog. The song is called "Lift Me Up." This is off his latest. It's what's off his latest. Sorry, I've lost it now. I'm just thinking of sidecars. Off his latest build with the Mini. So this is the latest music. It's around 98.9 Northwest FM. You're back on CarTorque with Matty J. That was Moog with you. Lift Me Up, featuring, I guess, Seven Skies. Yeah. So during the break, we're about to talk about heritage plates, and I got some funny stories about some heritage plates, but Alan's got a story first that he wants to chip in with, so jump in there, Alan.
Let's remember a little bit more of an update just on the cold air intake.
Yes.
I seem to be getting better mileage.
Really?
I haven't filled up yet, but where my needle would usually stand at this point, I would have only done, let's say, 360 kilometres. At this point, I'm about 420, and the needle's in the same place.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit worried about that, because there's the concept, the filter was slightly oiled.
Yep.
I did my darndest to clean up all the excess oil and kind of like pat it off and everything. And they do say some of the oil can get on the airflow meter, and that could cause you to lean out and have an explosion.
That is true. Yeah.
The only thing is, I haven't noticed anything from the car as any kind of symptom. And as the story part of it is, I was in Mexico yesterday.
Yep.
And a lovely lady in a FG GTE came along.
Ooh.
And I decided that since we were in Mexico and there were no laws, it was an empty road, private road, we just go for it. It was apparently a green light, I'm not sure. And the car...
Hey, it is Mexico, after all.
Yeah, the car did very well. It did not struggle.
The GTE go?
The GT did go, but I had it close up till about 60 kilometres an hour. By the time I reached 100, she was much further on. I believe she was maybe 140, but that's
in Mexico.
Yeah, but it's in Mexico, so yeah.
So you can get away with it.
But like I say, I would be more worried about the fuel economy, meaning like that I'm leaning out, but the car isn't showing any symptoms at all. I may like to get some kind of OBD2 sensor on it,
Get a double check
and just see if there is any kind of leaning. But so far I'm not noticing like the car's very happy.
Yeah.
And maybe just because it's getting better airflow all around, that it's just running a bit more economically when I am driving normally. But it remains to be seen. Yeah.
I mean, look, Cobb are a very reputable brand. Like everyone knows Cobb, and they specialize in like Subarus and like I think like Focuses and Mazdas and stuff for a while now. Excuse me. So for them to sell your product with the filter and everything, they sold it with the filter and everything.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. I'm sure they would have done their extensive testing, and they would have given their full backing. But having said that, you're obviously going to get the car tuned once you get your turbo and your big intercooler. So it'd be interesting to see the pre-run and where your mixture levels are at on like a dyno run before anything's been touched. Because the car's probably compensating as well for the different intake. As cars do, when something's a bit different, they try and compensate with either a bit more fuel, a bit more air. But the car shouldn't lean out if it's a direct bolt-on. But having said that, I'd like to see where the mixtures are at, and I'd like to see what the tuner would say. Say, okay, well, this is, you can see where when it's coming on boost, your levels are going a bit haywire, or if they're low, or if the car's compensating, giving you a bit more fuel. You never know. You might be a bit more lean down low, but a bit more rich up high. So
yeah, until I get measured,
yeah,
I won't know. Yeah.
Exactly right. But I guess the tune will clean all that up.
Yep.
And it'll come up real nice with it. I'm actually kind of excited for that car because I actually went in a quick red WRX. A good man of mine just bought one, a Hawkeye one, and it's had a full build engine, like rods and all that. It's a 2.5. It's a Hawkeye, so it's 6-speed as well. You've got a 6-speed box put in it. It's out of an STI, and it's had STI brakes and stuff. And it was obviously tuned. My God, it went good. It's like 200. I think it was 230 odd at the wheels.
Jeez. Yeah.
At all wheels, that is. And it's like it's laggy, but once it hits hard, and it's I'm like, far out. If Alan gets anything like this would be a nice street car. It's spot on. So I'm a big fan of WRXs. And he's going to go. It's going to take it in for another tuning. It's the motor's built to take 280 kilowatts.
Nice.
So he's going to just get the tune put on. Yep. But he's like crap. I'm going to like not die. But if I go to Mexico, it's going to be a bit of a faster car. Look, we're going to go to another quick break. We'll be right back after this. 9 Northwest FM. This is CarTorque with Manny J. We've been talking about. We've had a few good discussions today, like Club Reg. Our enthusiast registration, which we should make a petition for that on our Facebook page. Nathan likes it, and we've been talking about just WRXs in Mexico. So yeah, definitely once you get your tune, it'll really tie it all up and it'll make it real nice. I'm guessing that's your plans, like for an exhaust and stuff, right? Like.
Yeah, the next bit of money I get together will probably go for a turbo back exhaust. Yeah. I'm thinking of the NVIDIA Q300.
Yeah.
Because I believe that's close to 3 inches all around, and it's relatively quiet.
From the dump, or 3-inch dump? Is it a...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so compared to, I think the current exhaust has like 2 inches belly.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't give you that, like the I think it's the N1, the NVIDIA N1, sorry.
Yeah.
That gives you like a really, really loud cannon.
Yeah.
And
you don't want that.
Yeah, especially because a lot of times I'm driving around, it's 1 a.m., I'm pulling into my neighborhood. I don't want to be the idiot.
That guy.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that guy.
I'm happy with just the Q300. It's got the box of rumble, and it builds up as you accelerate. But down below, it's very, very comfortably, like just nice, rather than just the whole, hey, wake up, everyone.
But you also don't want it to drone on the freeway, which is just the worst thing in the world. You're in like fifth gear, like the whole car shakes, and it's just the worst thing. My friend's one's cured by that. I mean, like they're kind of illegal to have in Mexico. I mean they're illegal in Australia, but they're legal in Mexico. He's got a Verex, a Verex on the back, and it's quietens it up. Like it's all done on the key fob, so you can like when it's low when you want it to be, but when you're just cruising and turn it down, it's quieter than stock. You can't even hear it.
Yeah.
So. I reckon that'd be a good option.
That would be, but
they're expensive though.
There's also been a little discussion by MRT Performance because they also specialize in Subarus in Australia. The main thing is the various, like, you need to have it tuned specifically, properly at least, to compensate for that kind of muffler. Because if you're running it closed and you're running it at full boost and it was tuned for the open, you're gonna have run into exhaust heat problems that could destroy something.
Yeah.
Or if you just run it, if you tune it to closed and then run it wide open like on the freeway, you run into like just economy problems and stuff like that. So you got to work it out.
You need to find a fine line. Like he mainly uses it when he's like turning into his street.
Yep.
Like late at night because he works late nights, so like turns it down so it doesn't wake his grandma up when he pulls in, stuff like that.
But during his normal driving, so he's got it just open.
He's got it open unless you're coming up to like a booze bus or
I
anything.
like that. That's a pretty good idea because
it is a good idea.
That's probably the safest option in terms of tuning it as well.
Yeah.
You just use the closed mode for stealth purposes.
Yeah. So like he turns off the main road and just it's all on his key fob. He just turns over and you see it flash and the car just goes whisper quiet. It parks it in, drives it in his garage, leaves it, and he's like, my grandma doesn't even know I'm home, stuff like that, which is kind of like what you want out of that system.
Yeah,
I mean, the car's not being suffocated too much, but with it closed for like that short period of time. But in the grand scheme of things, when you're tuning the car when it's full open, a little bit here and there is not going to hurt it. At the end of the day. And that's what it's made for, really. So. I had another mate. He had an SSV wagon, and it was a mad car. And this thing was like cammed and like had the most stupidly loud exhaust. Like the whole my house. It was my next neighbour. He's like rattle and stuff when he'd start the car. It was sick. My dad didn't like it, but it was sick. And he had the various on there. So and he's like my car's just dumb loud. Like, it's stupid loud. So he's like, whenever I see like a booze bus or anything, I just turn it down and like they hear this big V8 come in and they just see it like pull up and they're like, where did that car go? So, I'm a big fan of him for that reason as well.
But if you ask tonight, and the officers that were on tonight, they think it's a cheating system.
It is a cheating system, yeah. But if you're in Mexico, that's.
As long as the full open mode isn't illegally loud.
Oh yeah, well that's the difference. Like, but like his car was just
absurdly
loud.
loud.
Absurdly loud. Yeah, I mean, jeez. But like the system you're looking at is probably like got a nice tone to it, and it's probably not too loud because you don't want to get into EPA just crap, and it's. I mean, look. Adam got done once. He got done in a Astra when he had his exhaust on. So I know, right? But. From there, it's just a complete crap storm. Like you got to go to a place that measures the decibels and the sound, and it just becomes a bit of a nightmare. So to put you on the safe side, make sure you get like a safe exhaust, if that makes sense. But quiet it up when you want it to.
Yeah. Well, I'll have a look at all the options.
Suss it out, man,
and look at my budget as well.
Yes. The budget is like with any car guy or any car enthusiast is the main kind of defining factor when you go to buy things. I think it is quiz time.
We forgot to discuss the heritage plate.
We got plenty of time to discuss heritage plate. We've got about 15 minutes. So
all right, Nathan, can you help me out here?
So I'll do my best.
I got some funny stories about heritage plates. So we'll come to that in a sec.
I think it's a bit unfair. I'm always getting the quiz.
Well, Nathan, would you like the quiz?
I'll help Alan out.
All right, okay.
Come on, Alan. I mean, you got 8 last week, so that was a team. That was a team effort.
That was a team effort, and James really pushed through.
All right, so this is the CarTorque car quiz. Question 1. In the first Fast and Furious, the Fast and the Furious, what was the first car we see Brian driving?
I believe it is a Mitsubishi Eclipse.
It's a Mitsubishi Eclipse. GSX to be precise. Apparently it's a GSX, but
we're talking about a film franchise that have brake calipers. So,
oh yeah, who needs brake calipers, man? Seriously. Question 2. The 7M GTE was an engine made by what manufacturer?
7M GTE.
We can pass and come back.
Let me check my phone.
We'll pass and come back.
Question 3. The Lexus LFA was produced between what years? It had a very, very short lifespan. I think they made about 500 cars.
Oh, which years?
I'll give you a hint. It was pretty much in production for just 2 years.
I'm just trying to think of what years I remember seeing it on Top Gear. Seems like it's been a while.
Has been a while.
I'd like to say it was before 2010.
Okay.
Am I on the right track?
You've got one number right. I don't know if it's. I'm going to say it was before or after.
You got the 2 right.
No, the 2010. There's got some sort of 2010 in there. So
I want to say 2009 to 2010.
no, so he said it's December 2010 to 2012. But I would have accepted 2011 to 2012. Alan, that was close, man. Like that was a hard one. I'll give you that. Question 4: Mighty Carbines are currently doing a conversion and an engine. Sorry, I was starting again. Mighty Carbines are currently doing an engine conversion on a car. What is the conversion?
The conversion is from the standard mini engine, the 3-cylinder. I don't know the engine code.
4-cylinder.
I thought Cosmo was a 3-cylinder.
It's a 4-cylinder. It's a Siamese port, so that's why you probably get a bit confused. It's got because it looks like there's 3 ports.
Ah, yeah. Never mind.
That's
My
right.
apologies. And it is a B16
B16, maybe that's correct. Yeah.
from a
Honda Civic
Type R
Type R.
with the VTEC.
Question 5: What was the last S-chassis Nissan to be released?
I'd like to say the S15.
S15, you are correct. Question 6: True or false? The Ford Cougar is now sold as the Ford Flex. Here in Australia, that is.
Here in Australia. What do you reckon, Nathan? I feel like saying true, but I can't recall seeing any.
There's some ads for what it's really about, like what it's really called. I'm not going to say if it's the Flex or whatever it is.
I would say false, but I know nothing.
Oh, we'll go for false.
It is false.
I don't feel like I've heard
It's
that.
the Escape.
Okay.
It's the same car, they've just rebranded it because the Escape sold more. Question 7. The previous generation Ford Escape was the same car as the Mazda what?
Previous generation Ford Escape. What do you think, Nathan? It'd be one of them four-wheel drive kind
It's an
of
SUV. So
SUV Mazda.
Ooh, SUV Masters. Let me check my extensive knowledge.
What is it? CX-5, 7? I don't know.
the Tribute.
It's not the best
I'm
car.
not seeing those in
It's
a
just
while.
tribute.
It's just the Tribute. Do you know this? Wait, I'm sorry. I'll get back to this. There was a sticker guy put in his Tribute. This is not the best car in the world. This is just the Tribute. It's just the Tribute. They had next to his badge. It was hilarious. Question 8. What is a dogleg gearbox?
Dogleg gearbox, I believe it relates to the position of first gear and how it's down rather than up.
That's exactly right. For a faster shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is perfectly correct. I didn't expect many people to get that. Question 9. The letters BT1 on a Holden VIN plate mean what? It's a BT1, bro. It's a genuine BT1.
On a Holden.
On the Holden car. So, for example, like on a Commodore.
You gotta give me a clue.
To give you a clue, I don't know.
Bathurst.
Nah. I'll give you one more chance. Think of everyone with a VL Commodore VL Turbo BT1. Canary yellow. All the came with white.
Make something up.
You can pass.
I'll pass for now.
I'll let you pass for now. Okay. The BMW E36 M3 first debuted in what year?
Very little knowledge about BMWs.
Early 90s. I'll give you that. Early 90s.
I'll say 1992.
He was 92. Yes. Alright, where were we? The 7M GTE was an engine made by what manufacturer?
Can I get 3 guesses?
Okay, I'll make you a deal. Each guess you lose 25%, and if you get all three wrong, you get 0. Nathan's just pissing himself.
Well, if that's the case, then I get the country of origin.
Well, if I tell you, you're going to get it. Because there's pretty much just 3 main manufacturers there.
I don't know, I feel like saying Toyota though first time.
It is Toyota. Yeah, well done. Well done. That gets us back to the BT1 question. The letters BT1 on a Holden VIN plate mean what?
And you mentioned VL turbos.
Yes.
Something transmission?
Music's running out. You're running out of time.
I want to say something about a turbo?
Nah. It was an ex-police car. It was a police car.
Oh, okay.
BT1. Oh, it was a BT1, bro. It's got a cop chip.
Was that the one where it was like as stock as a rock and then he cut?
Yes.
the bumper?
That's exactly right. It's a stock as a rock BT1. Did the police do that? Yeah. It's like a massive front mount in it. Oh, jeez. That was embarrassing. Anyway, he made all VL owners look bad in that video.
But he was happy with his car. That's important.
That's important.
If you're happy with your car and you're not hurting anyone, maybe the car you're hurting a little bit, but yeah, the car can't say that. So if you're not hurting anyone, more power to you.
Exactly right.
But we'll still laugh. We'll still laugh because
we'll laugh with him, not at him.
Once he leaves, we'll laugh at him.
You guys are so mean. We're going to go to Alan's new favourite song, Fantagram.
Not planogram?
Not Planogram. This is Fall in Love, which is a pretty famous song for reasons we should not speak about.
If you'd like to know more, go to the YouTube video.
Go to the YouTube video. So this is Fantagram with Fall in Love.
Pascoe Vale or Preston. This is your local station, 98.9 Northwest FM.
It's around 98.9 Northwest FM. You're back on CarTorque with Matty J. We are almost out of time, but we were going to talk about heritage plates. And they are ridiculously expensive. I don't know if about you, but what I heard, if you probably would have seen them, but you haven't really noticed them. Heritage plates are like the really, really old style looking plates, and you'll see them like they sometimes they just have one number, or they'll have like 6. And basically, I work at an auto parts store. This is the story I was going to say. Sorry, geez, there goes my mic. I work at an auto parts store, and this guy is a chauffeur. He came in and he's like, "Oh, I need some wipers put on my car." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come in and do it for you." And we got talking, and I'm putting him on this old AU Ute. Yeah, it's beat. Yeah, the headlining's like falling, and it's just hammered. And the guys come in like a full suit and everything. And he's just like, "Oh, I'm like, oh, yeah." You get small, and you're like, "Oh, what do you do?" He's like, "Oh, I'm a chauffeur. I'm semi-retired, but the guy brought me in just to drive his cars." I'm like, "Oh, yeah." Well, I'm like, "Yeah, what type of cars do you drive?" He's like, "I drive Maybachs, I drive Rolls's, I drive everything." And I'm like, "Oh, is this yours?" He's like, "No, this is like the guy that I drive for this car." I'm like, really?
A beat up AU?
A beat up AU old U. He's like, yeah. He's like, let me look at the plates. I had a look. Had I kid you not, $20,000 or $50,000 plates in the car, like the old heritage style plates.
Jeez,
They're worth more than the car. Like it's like 50 times worth more than the car. And I'm like to the guy, I'm like, "These are heritage plates." He's like, "Yeah, no." He's like, this guy, because he's rich and he's got all the cars in his hangar. This is kind of the car he just beats around and just puts stuff in, and it's a Ute. People beat up Utes. And I couldn't believe it. If you put my two cars together, they still wouldn't equal up to what his plates cost. And these were on an AU, so he was telling me he's got. I'm pretty sure he had a heritage plates on most of his cars. So, and believe it or not, he said the Maybach's nicer to drive than the Rolls. There you go. I'm a big fan of Maybachs, and I always thought that's a cool car. Like they've got so much tech in them. Whereas like a Rolls is like a statement. I guess a Rolls is a statement, but like a Maybach's like a Maybach.
Well, it's like a very rich bed that drives.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he's a chauffeur. Like if you have one of those cars, you're not going to drive them. You're going to get paid to drive. But yeah, that's my funny heritage place story. Like I bumped into a guy with a Ute, an AU Ute that had $50,000 plates on it, which is quite hilarious. But yeah.
The other question is, in terms of your insurance now, because a lot of times when you get into this kind of range, when you've got expensive cars, expensive plates, the individual is usually given some kind of a package umbrella kind of deal where everything's kind of covered rather than individual items. So, like that's when I guess if you're insuring, you're paying like $100,000 a year and maybe premiums in some cases.
Yeah.
You've got your houses, your cars, your boat, your second car, your second wife, everything else covered. So, like those kind of things, it's I guess not really in the realm of a regular person like us, but I still would like to know if one person tried to like insure their car, like if it was just an AU Falcon Ute that was worth $1,000, and then
dude, it was worth like $20.
Yeah,
The headline was falling.
like, and then you put $50,000 plates on. Do they pay for the plates, and do they charge you the premium accordingly?
Well, I actually want to know if your plates get stolen, do you have to pay $50,000 again to buy them on Vic roads? Like, would that be covered underneath your thing, or would you have to tell the insurance?
Because the standard rule for plate theft is if you've got like personalized plates,
They just replace it.
they just replace them, and then if a car like pulls through, I guess, a red light camera or speed camera, and it's the same car model as yours, then you can't claim that it was the person who stole your plates. You have to accept responsibility, I believe, for those kind of fines.
Really?
Something relating to that, because otherwise they expect you to just take a different plate. Like, if you've got a standard issue plate and they get stolen,
That's BS, man.
they'll give you a different plate. They won't give you the same plate you had. But if you've got a special, plate, they'll give you the same thing replicated. And then you're expected, like, if you've got, like a Mazda 6.
Yeah.
What is that, a Mazda 6? Is even a real car? Yeah, a Mazda, I guess it is. Sorry. Just thinking of the MX-6. Anyway, you got a Mazda 6, you got personalized plates, somebody steals your plates, and then they pull through a red light camera in, like, a VT Commodore.
Yeah,
They don't expect you to pay that.
No.
But if somebody then pulls through the same Mazda, like a Mazda 6 that looks just like yours, and you're alleging that it was the person that stole your plates, then I believe they just push it on you. Unless you've got some kind of like incredible proof that you were somewhere else entirely, then I believe you're expected to pay that fine. I think something related to that, because if you want to roll out the system that way, you can be like, "Oh, my plates got stolen. Can I have another set?" And then do that.
But then we're like, how come you didn't ask for new plates here
Yeah.
at this time of day? These are very interesting topics, but we've gone over time. One more quick thing. I remember seeing... I saw something on Facebook, and a guy got a fine in the mail for his I think it was a van or a ute breaking down. And he's like, I never drove it. It was like that day. Anyway, he's like, send me the picture, because they send you, if you could debate it, they send you the picture. And his van was in the back of a tow truck. and you see it on the back of a tow truck, and it says, you see his plate. So he copped the fine. And he's like, obviously this wasn't me. Look, I wasn't driving the car. So yeah, it's there's still a kinks in every system that needs to be found out, but that's a story for another time. But it's a bit of a joke to end up on. This has been CarTorque with Matty J. Thanks again, guys, for coming in.
No problem.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to come on this show, and James's show as well.
That's exactly right. James has got his show. He's waving in the back of the studio. Tuesday nights where it's at on 98.9 Northwest FM. 6 p.m. you got James with Man vs. Movies and me with CarTorque at 7. Give us a Facebook page you like. It's CarTorque with Matty J. TORQE with Matty J. We also put out our podcast every week on shoutengine.com. So if you've missed any of our episodes or our shows, go back onto Shout Engine. They've got everything on there, and give them a listen. Give a page a like and a share, and go enjoy your get out to a car meet and enjoy your car. So tune in on Thursday for the Thursday Waffle with Fitzy and Mr. the legendary Dr. Rock, and tune in to Dr. Rock's show on a Monday night for your pleasure. In the meantime, this has been CarTorque with Matty J. I will see you guys next week. Take it easy.